Morning, Glory America. Bonjour. Hi, Canada. From Studio Winterfell, I'm Hugh Hewitt, joined by Geraghty, the indispensable. Jim Geraghty, of course, at National Review Online. You get his morning newsletter, The Morning Jolt, if you are a smart person. Good morning, Jim.
Hugh, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I was just exploring with Jim Talent that Senator Sinema is in a unique position. She can have whatever she wants. Literally, it's abracadabra time. The genie's in the bottle. She gets 3 wishes for anything that she wants. And she wants to stop the carry interest forward provision. I mean, she could put a nuclear plant in every state. She could rebuild the Navy. She can get whatever she wants, and that's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wrote something late yesterday in the corner, speculating that I think, despite the fact that all the pressure in the world is going to come on her, is going to bear down on her, if she were to say, nope, I can't sign on board with this. Like, that would kill her in a Democratic primary in Arizona a couple of years from now. That would make the treatment she's had so far of being chased into the bathroom look like nothing. So I suspect she wants to get to yes. She wants to get a version of a bill that she can sign on to. But I also think that time is on her side because we're getting closer and closer to the midterm elections. There are a bunch of red state senators or purple state senators who probably would rather not have, if they're going to vote for tax hikes, they want to have that as far away from Election Day as possible. And they're supposed to go on recess, I think, at the end of this week. I mean, I suppose you could delay it a couple of days if you feel like you got a bill. But these guys got to go back home and campaign. So they don't want to spend the whole fall tied up in these drawn-out negotiations over this tweak or that tweak. I'm sure the Michael Bennetts of the world are like, just give Sinema what she wants. Let us get out of here and let me get back to Colorado or Georgia or Arizona so I can run for re-election.
Well, all of those incumbent Democrats are going to have to answer their voters why they didn't get what Sinema gets. But is there any chance in your view? Senator Sinema is an interesting person. She began as a radical. Then she became a Green. Then she became a left-wing Democrat. Then she became a moderate maverick Democrat. Could she go Ben Nighthorse Campbell and just go all the way and say, I'm the new Reagan? I have been here for 4 years, and these people are just not working in the best. I'm going to be a Republican. I'm going to join with Susan Collins and Shelley Moore Capito, and we are going to represent the center of the new Republican Party and the center of America, and we are going to make stuff happen. Any chance, Jim Geraghty?
Extraordinarily unlikely, at least as the Republican Party is constituted today. I do think maybe she does an Angus King, some sort of I'm an independent, but I caucus with the Democrats sort of thing. Could the Republican Party eventually bring her over? Look, stranger things have happened. I suppose it's conceivably possible, but it would probably have to be a different Republican Party than it is right now. Because for all of her frustration of Democrats, for all of the fact that she puts her home state values first, for all of the fact that she is not willing to toe the progressive line, Hugh, we should not fool ourselves. This woman is not a conservative.
But she is in a position so unique. There are very rare moments in America when a senator holds it. John McCain, thumbs down. Memorable moment. Susan Collins' speech announcing her vote for Brett Kavanaugh. The whole country watched. Mm-hmm. Senator Sinema gets to go to the well and say, I will vote for this if ABC, or I won't vote for this because ABC. And that becomes an iconic moment in American politics. If she goes with, I will vote for this, but you've got to add ABC. And you want to establish your position in American history. What is ABC, Jen? It's not carry forward interest.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the irony of seeing what's in the 15% minimum tax, and let's say she brings it down to 14. Right? I don't think something like that is going to be the kind of change that I think people will say that was a waste of leverage and, is really kind of window dressing changes on the bill. I think it was interesting to see Manchin, this guy who represents the state most focused on coal, sign on to a climate change bill and promoting electric vehicles and all that kind of stuff. I think if you were her, you want to make the like everybody in the Democratic Party, we're transitioning to this alternative fuels, we're transitioning to environmentally friendly energy, and we are living with the consequences of attempting to make that change too quickly. So, if one of those things where you can say, we're going to make this transition much slower, we're going to make this transition much more gradual, we're going to make this transition so that it does not end up with a giant energy cost burden on the middle class and on Americans from coast to coast. Maybe something like that would strike the right note and really kind of elevate her. Get the people talking about, wow, that's the kind of person who should run for president or something like that.
Well, Jim, you just nailed it. But I don't think you nailed the second part. That's what she wants. Boy, that's the kind of person who should run for president. Hugh Hewitt thinks, because I'm Hugh Hewitt, if she comes out and says, oh, look, I'm from a desert state, so this isn't going to make any sense, but the Chinese Communist Party is killing us, and they're about to go to war in Taiwan. And so I'm going to repurpose half of this spending for the United States Navy, and we're going to buy attack submarines and the Columbia boomers, and we're going to accelerate shipbuilding in states not my own, because the national defense is withering on the vine and the Chinese are dangerous. Or that, Jim Geraghty, gets everyone to say, wow, right? I mean, put your big brain to this. She can have anything she wants.
It would. I think the problem is one, you then say, and all the components for those submarines will be made in Arizona. You're going to have to do something that would help out her home state.
Well, she can ask for two things, drought relief and and a Navy. I mean, she could ask for nuclear power plants in every state. She can ask for anything. It really is an Aladdin's lamp moment, and it will tell us so much about her. I think she's very smart, by the way. Guy Benson used to debate her at the University of Colorado World Affairs Forum every summer, and he said she's very smart.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of the things that's interesting is how she's played this, and the degree. I mentioned her being chased into the bathroom, and one of the things that if you're right of center, having seen her just be absolutely abused, absolutely denounced, demonized, frothing at the mouth, like the progressive left should not get a win out of this from her after treating her, allegedly an ally, so badly. And that's why I don't want to see her. One, you don't want to see her make a deal. Two, you don't. If she's going to make a deal, you want to see her punish those people. That they should not come out of this as winners after they misplayed their hand so badly.
Right. Interesting. That's an interesting point. I wrote a column for the Washington Post on if the Republicans could get anything out of this mess. The other two things were publicly funded charter schools and private charter schools, infrastructure spending. It fits under the parliamentarian rule. Or limits on curriculum overreach by the left. I mean, there are things she could do to put herself on the map, but she can't waste it, right? And, I hope the morning jolt tomorrow is, if I were Kristen Sinema. Is it Kristen or Kirsten? I never get it right.
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
So she has the most difficult to spell name because it's got a Y in the Kirsten, and Sinema begins with S and not with C, which my spell check will apparently never understand.
Yeah. So Kirsten Sinema is sitting in her office. She's surrounded by staff telling her to ask for A, ask for B. She ought to be reading everyone on what she ought to do. I mean, if I were the editorial page of the Washington Post or the New York, I would run the National. What should Sinema ask for? Because it's really a moment at which it is a Susan Collins, Brett Kavanaugh, John McCain thumbs down. Is there any other comparable moment? Jim Talent said Ben Nighthorse Campbell had a moment like this once and got spending controls, but those don't last. I mean, you got to get something physical, don't you?
I think you're correct, and I think the other thing that kind of jumps out at this is so a lot of folks on the right who had spent a good portion of the last year loving Joe Manchin and throwing roses at his feet and thinking how terrific he was. We're kind of blindsided by this, and I think there's some of us who would say, well, actually, we shouldn't have. This man was a Democrat for a reason. This man had many opportunities to change parties,
and his career is over.
Yeah,
and he's done.
I'll be like. So
he's old.
I wonder if they look at the upcoming midterm elections and see this shaking out as 52 to 48 in either direction. I think Republicans are not doing as well in the Senate as they should be. But at that point, starting January 3rd or whenever they swear in the new members, you lose this leverage. It's not a 50-50 Senate anymore. And you don't have this power. So it's one of those things where I wonder if Manchin's attitude was, this is my moment of maximum leverage. And if I go this way, I get the progressives off my back. I get a whole bunch of stuff from my state. Everybody loves me. Everybody on the left who's been hating me for a year loves me. And I get to go back to West Virginia and say, look at all this stuff that I got you in exchange for signing on.
And then I retire and I lobby, and my Democratic friends will talk to me. But if you're Sinema,
and it reduces inflation because we changed the name.
Yeah, but if you're Sinema and you're, I assume she wants to be president, which is what I assume about every senator ever. If you want to be president, what do you ask for that the Democrats can give you and that the Republicans would applaud, right?
What you're observing there also is national security, foreign policy. If she wanted to run, she's young by the standards of presidential candidates. I think a lot of us would find that a refreshing, delightful change to not have the equivalent of Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau up there as grumpy old men in some sort of presidential campaign. This would be great. But yeah, this is she's a bit down the road, I suspect.
Can I get a commitment for the Morning Jolt to dwell on this subject tomorrow? Because when the Morning Jolt is about one subject, it always jolts me.
I don't know, Hugh. No guarantees.
No guarantees from Geraghty, the indispensable. He's just like Senator Sinema. No guarantees. But Jim Geraghty, the opportunity is in front of you, too. I'll be right back, America. Thank you, Jim. Don't go anywhere. I'm Hugh Hewitt.